8:47. That's a little Friday music for me. And Joe Strecker, who's on vacation, but since this is my last day of the week, I'll say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and I'll be back on Monday. Dave Hatter, Libertas Technologies, in the house for our Ask the Expert segment. Welcome back, Dave. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Brian, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back.
Get in that microphone a little bit quick. You
Better?
got good information for people. You want to be able to tell them about it. And if you have questions for Dave, and he can help your business, and this is one of those things, I don't even know what businesses is that I'm talking to people about, but most everybody uses the web anymore. And this is where your expertise at Libertas comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Companies of all shapes and sizes are increasingly turning to the web to take business processes out to customers, partners, vendors that help them save or make money. If you can take a process that's very manual and not only automated, but better yet, push it out over the web so that your customers, vendors, or partners can do it themselves, you're not only saving them time, you're saving yourself time, you're making money, and you're building a better customer relationship because you're making it easier for them to do business with you.
I'm going to give you a prime, or at least what I think is an example. I just had to reactivate or activate a brand new phone for my son on my account. And rather than have to deal with go to the vendor and have them take care of it, I was able to accomplish that on the web by merely inputting the specific serial number for the phone, and boom, it automatically came on. This is the type of I am the customer in that case. I'm using the web at their website to do something. Can you give me an example of business processes, another application or something where you've worked on one and help people interact that way?
Sure. A simple example would be if a company has an ordering process and customers have to call in to find out the status of their order. Typically, there's some kind of back office system they're already using to manage the order process. Maybe there's not, but if there is, you can take that process, extend it through the web to your customers. So now instead of a customer having to call in, spend your time looking something up that they could do themselves, not to mention they can do it at their leisure anytime they want, right? They're not dependent on you. They don't have to wait for you. You're not a bottleneck in this process. They can go to your website and look up an order, or better yet, place an order. And again, it not only saves you time and money, it takes less people, it's a more efficient process, and ultimately it creates a better relationship with your customer because you're serving them better.
And the nice thing about Libertas is you're working with just all types of businesses. You have a little bit some insight and ways of bettering business processes that the business people may not have even thought of. So, I mean, if I'm a businessman and I'm thinking, well, I got this website, I'm really not sure how to make it work for me, they call a guy like you, and you give them all kinds of insight and ways they can do that.
Well, that's a good point. We've been in business as Libertas for over 8 years. We work with companies of all shapes and sizes, from Fortune 10s down to little mom and pops. And we've got a lot of experience automating business processes. That's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to work with businesses to help them figure out how they can improve their bottom line, generate maximum ROI on their technology investments by applying technology wisely and through automating processes, because the computer doesn't call in sick. It doesn't take days off. It just works for you every day once you've defined the process and automated it correctly.
And Libertas deals with both form and function in terms of websites. But, what is the most important in your mind in terms of form and function?
Well, the good thing is it's not just in my mind. There are plenty of studies that show, it's not anecdotal, that form really is more important, or function is more important than form, because if you have a website, no matter how aesthetically pleasing it is, people won't spend a lot of time trying to figure out how it works. You've got to have a simple site that's intuitive, that people can quickly and easily understand, and that speaks to them in their own language, so that when they get on it, they can quickly find what they want. Think about how you use Google. You do a search, you land on a website. How much time are you personally willing to spend trying to figure out how to use a site? And thanks to Google, you don't have to spend much, because if you don't like it, you just hit back and go to the next one. So you really have a very short amount of time to capture someone's interest and attention. It's got to be simple. It's got to be intuitive, but it's by far the most important thing. And I've got the studies to back it up.
You got the studies to back it up. Of course, you've done this for any number of businesses. So you can, my view is, a guy like Dave, Dave, you can look at a website and immediately, well, there's the problems right there. I diagnose the problem, show exactly how to fix it, create that functionality that the businesses need. Let's talk a little bit about mobile technology as well. How does the mobile technology component work into this equation?
Well, mobile technology is a very exciting space, because businesses are increasingly finding that you can build applications that you can take out on a smartphone or some type of maybe more ruggedized device, and you can take business logic out into the field, and particularly for customer service type businesses where you're going out, you're providing a service. It's increasingly important to be able to get the job done right the first time, collect the information, and bill more quickly. And mobile technology provides all of those capabilities. I can take an app out into the field, collect the information that I need, make sure the technician does the job right, because it guides them through the process. It forces them to enter the information that you need. And you can collect that either real time or nearly real time and generate an invoice the same day, so it improves your cash flow.
That makes perfect sense. Let me ask you this, though. I want a real-life example of that application illustration. I mean, give me an idea. Go ahead.
I got one. We're working with we're subcontracting with a company right now on a very cool project where they'll have technicians out in the field installing devices. They're going to do 250,000 of these things across the tri-state area. Each time they install it, they'll go out every day. They'll have their handheld. It's got all the information they need. They go out. They literally scan a barcode on the device. Okay, it's got a built-in barcode scanner, so it's a little more ruggedized than a smartphone and a little more industrialized. So you don't have as much data entry. You're going to scan the barcode. It actually taps into the GPS built into the device to pick up the GPS, the Latin Lounge of your location, captures all this in the handheld. If you're connected, if you have a cellular connection, it'll report all this data back along with, other information like where did you install it, were there any problems installing it. So you're capturing all the information about each one of these processes. That's all rolled up to a centralized database. There's a web-based interface built around that so that our customer and their customer can access this data real time. So every day you can watch as these installs are happening all throughout the tri-state region. It's all being done on a mobile device.
That is truly amazing. And, the real-time notion of it, the fact that it is, flawless and error-free, too, because when you're dealing with barcode apps and in direct communication like that, there's none of that lag time and there's no the human error element or anything.
Well, it helps with things like inventory, too, because as these devices, these are expensive devices, as they're being installed, you're getting a fairly real-time picture anyway, of your inventory. So you can know, I'm going to run out of this type. There's different types they're installing. I need to get more of these. You can anticipate when that's going to happen because instead of someone writing all this down on paper and then trying to collate, aggregate, and report on any number of different installers from all the paper reports they've written, this is essentially happening real time or near real time.
Talking with Dave Hatter, Libertas, award-winning Libertas. You guys won the Chamber of Commerce Blue Ribbon Small Business Awards for this year, the Small Business Excellence Award this year. Last year, Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce Small Business Success Award. A phenomenal company helping businesses really improve their bottom line one application at a time. Real quick, you had mentioned Google, and I just want to ask you about search engine optimization. I always just wonder about this. How does this, give me an insight into that. Why is it so important?
Well, it's incredibly important because increasingly people turn to search engines. Google drives roughly 80% of all web-based traffic. Think again, Brian, how you use the internet, and I'm sure most of your listeners, they don't just know the address of something. They go to Google, they type something, and see what they find. Right. So most traffic to your website is going to come from Google unless you're incredibly savvy or have a huge marketing budget to drive people there by some other mechanism. So you got to get in Google, and then most importantly, once you're in there, you got to figure out how to make your site come to the top. You got to optimize the copy, the text, the right keywords and phrases that your visitors, your audience would use to find you, and that's the key.
And that's where Libertas Technologies comes in. Dave Hatter, always a pleasure seeing you. Keep up the great work. And if anybody has a question for Dave about how Libertas Technologies can improve your business processes, improve your, bottom line, ultimately, give us a call, 749-5500, pound 550 on your AT&T phone. Dave, have a fantastic Thanksgiving,
Thanks,
man.
Brian. You too.
And a very happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'll be back on Monday. Hope you have a great weekend as well. 855 KRC, the